all in the hole. You can call me Dirk.
Dirk Diggler.
Alone, the whiskey. That mean ain't nobody rolling with me. Sight, cause I got Price on my side. Actually, he right in front. I'm down the ride. I be doing that like I'm in. They be looking at me. Think I'm 2-3 men, but I'm only one. I'm the only guy. They can call me up there cause I am fly. Ooh, I got the wings. You can call me Pegasus, but I'm more like Aladdin when I do this magic. I'm like a carpet, the way I run. Don't know what that means? Here I come. Rapping like I'm who? You know the name. Rapping in this, you know the game. Never gonna quit. Hit you with that left hook like Ryan Garcia. That's my new dog. I'm more like with AJ. That's the heavyweight. I'm not here to play. Get a payday. Go to the gas station, get a payday. Nah, I'm more like Twix. Used to be on Snickers, but my wife allergic. So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna drink some water. But then I'm gonna have 3-4 bags of motherfucking candy to start. Need a cup of coffee.
Tell him get up off.
Right, cause that's how it was with tea. I used to drink that shit every day. But now when I see that shit, tell that stay away. Be like, nah, I need that black with some cream. With some sugar. That's that white. You know what I mean?
English, Earl Grey, good morning.
Whoa.
You know you gotta get it when you be yawning and yawning.
They say that tea got caffeine and I beg to differ. Give me a cup of coffee and I'm gonna sip. 3 sips of coffee, better than a whole gallon of sweet tea.
And you know me.
You know it. I'm going. And I'm barking in it, and I'm showing. Ain't nobody gonna say I ain't blowed up.
Dog is a dog, blood thicker than water. Woo! Into the mud and the slaughter.
And the slaughter, and they say, ooh, look, I'm gotta calm down, I just had a daughter.
Is this Crips? I like to call the Crips. There's a crime in my neighborhood, and I don't trust the cops, so I'd like to call the Crips. We don't handle that here, sir. You called 911. Do the Crips have their own number? I call 911. It's an emergency. I need the Crips. Sir, I suggest you go outside and call the Crips. They might already be in your neighborhood. Good look. Thank you.
Alright, let me stop playing. Okay.
Look inside your own third eye.
Yeah. And keep your own time. Just like this click track. Damn, that's been playing the whole time.
I like it actually. That metronome is pretty dope.
Right.
It feels like my heartbeat like when I wake up first thing in the morning. I hope that's not a bad sign.
Oh man. So but that's very steady though. That's nothing to worry about.
That's nothing. You just buzzing.
I mean, I remember going to the doctor back in the day when I was like 16. And they'd be like, all right, we're gonna come out, we're gonna leave the room. We need you to do like 30 jumping jacks, then we're gonna come take your heart rate. They'd leave the room, I'd do 30 jumping jacks. And then they'd come back and then they'd be like, we're taking your heart rate. So they'd take my heart rate and they'd be like, Mr. Johnson, we asked you to do 30 jumping jacks. What are you doing? I'm like, I did 30 jumping jacks. They're like, okay, do 30 jumping jacks right now. So I'm like, 30 jumping jacks. And take your heart rate. They're like, your heart rate is abnormally, not abnormal, but it was like your heart rate is like barely moved. I was like, oh, I just exercise a lot. Right.
You said I'm built like that.
Right, I'm built like that. I exercise.
got it like that.
I just do it. I just, my heart rate is just the same.
It's just the same. You know, it's like hard to excite me. You know what I mean? Like I'm bored of your antics.
Right.
So I'll do these jumping jacks if I must.
Right.
30, 60, 6,000.
Right.
You're not gonna fluster me.
Right.
You know.
Now I could probably beat my own, like my 17-year-old self's behind today because of the mind. Like, because not the mind, but like because of experience. Right. Like but I have to do it quick because I haven't been working out in a while.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? In about 2-3 moves, my heart rate might be a little different than back in the day.
See, but it's different because like if you have, you know, like if you put a pit bull on a chain tied to a tire, right? And let's say the pit bull is 4 years old.
Right.
And then you have like let's say you have a bull mastiff that's 2 years old but has never been put on a tire, right?
Mm-hmm.
That pit bull is gonna kill that bull mastiff. You know what I'm saying? Even though the bull mastiff has more energy, it's not focused. So when you get older, you just
definitely
get that,
not focused.
You get that focused strength
Definitely
that
not
comes
focused.
with training dogs illegally. I don't know how I got on that. I don't know how I got on that. It was just the first thing that came to mind. And the last thing that's always on my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the last thing always on your mind.
Before I go to sleep. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a very relevant topic for me right now. Well, okay, we said welcome to the podcast, right?
I think so.
Okay, so we're welcome. We're already here. Okay,
Yeah,
so
we
we're
did.
here. That's an interesting topic if you want to go down that road.
Have you actually
Health-
been in a neighborhood? Oh, I'm sorry. I
health-
thought you were talking about dog training.
No.
Oh,
No.
I was gonna say, have you ever? I've
Health-
been in neighborhoods.
men's health.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That transition between youth and like not middle age, like
Adulthood, age,
Yeah, basic-
maturity.
basic adulthood. Like as far as age, like if our standard age, like if all went well and we lived to be like 85, is that reasonable?
I'm
the-
shooting for higher, but yes.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, I mean, to live to 100, I mean, that's rare. I mean,
It
it's
is
a
true.
lot of people, but I mean,
it's true. Yeah,
you know what I mean? But let's say 85 is just because let's say 90,
90.
because you know what I mean? And we're in our 30s. Well, I'm not even 30 yet. I'm about to be 30.
That's why.
30s versus 90. So we're not even halfway there.
Right.
Right. But that's an interesting, like, I guess for some people, like, maybe for athletes, like, they just get stronger and stronger. Like, maybe for athletes, like my cousin Rebels, he was on Instagram, right? And he's like, you know, he's got the music playing, and he's just, he's out there, and he just, working out, just warming up.
Just hit a whole backflip.
Just getting in the game, you know? And he cranks out like 5, and he's just warming up. Then he goes to the handstands. I'm like, man, he's in great health. He's in great health, and he's been that way since childhood,
Right. Yeah.
because he in the gymnastics he's been competitive and then kept that spirit of exercise throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Me, lifestyle choices, artistry, out there trying to jam, trying to vibe, drinking, smoking, whatever. My health is not as grand as it was. Like, it was not a continuation of like great health. Like,
But it brings up a good point, because there's something to say for the fact that, because I've taken breaks off of being active, you know what I'm saying? But I generally stick to a certain core of fitness. You know what I
Right.
mean? That I can always get back to, or so far have always been able to get back to.
now, what do you mean by fitness? Do you mean like
'Cause
certain workouts that you do, or particularly like just the activity of your day-to-day life?
Like, I actually always measure it by like how light you feel on your feet. Like, it's like when you're in your teens,
Right.
Like, I can't, like, the way how swift you used to be. It's not how fast you are, because
Right.
like I may be able to actually beat my 17-year-old self in a foot race today.
Right.
Better technique, stronger legs, whatever, longer stride. I might actually be able to, but how light I felt on my feet at 17 is just like you almost can't get that back.
Right.
But you can maintain it through
Like
regular.
a straight foot race, maybe not, but maybe something more complex, maybe a more like, for instance, I'd probably lose in a foot race to my older self, like to my younger self.
Mhm.
But ask my younger self to lift as many concrete blocks as I can lift right now. Like, just, hey, put this 100 concrete blocks in the truck.
Right.
Oh God, my younger self. You know what I'm saying?
My bad.
Even yeah, right. Like, there is something to say about that muscle memory over years. But it's interesting because, like, okay, so I have a lot. Like, my day to day is very active, like very moving heavy stuff and things like that. But there's a difference, I think, between that and having a, like, that's why I said, what do you mean by fitness? Because do you mean like exercises that you particularly do? Because that seems to be like, even if you worked yourself to the core
Yeah.
today, and then you go home and you crank up 100 push-ups and do like some yoga or something, that doesn't, it's like that's a whole nother zone in the mind or something that
Well, they fuel each other, because like, so my job is very physical, contractor work, lifting, building, cutting, everything like that. Dealing with materials, you gotta kind of have some strength. But what I realize is, like, it's the same as like race car drivers, golfers, these sports where you don't actively see the physical body doing that much, but it's very, very important to actually still be fit, because you actually have to manipulate your environment quite a bit,
Right.
under forces that you can't see. So like, I still do, like, I do 30 minutes of kettlebell whatever every day, right? And the reason why I do that is because it keeps me fit, but more than that, it makes my movements more dynamic. It makes I feel like my reaction times are better, but I also feel like my coordination is better, right? So then what I'm doing in my everyday life seems easier, because like, it's like, I'm building this long bench, or you got to lift this heavy cinder block, something like, whatever.
Right.
Seems easier because of what I regularly do.
Right.
So they fuel each other. So the level of fitness that I feel in my daily is because of a routine of fitness that I keep, but also in times where I'm not doing that routine fitness, because it's just been my life. I take waves, you know what I'm saying? In the spring and summer, you can catch me, I'm working out.
Right.
And a little bit in the winter, fall, boy, It's pumpkin spice.
Right.
It's pumpkin spice. I'm not working out, but
Man.
but I maintain because I just do whatever I gotta do physically.
Right.
So yeah, just
That's interesting. Like, I wanna get back. Like, okay, so Jabri and I talked the other day, and I'm like, when it comes to just like getting out and running, like just to get out and run, what is that? What is it? Is it a thought process, or is it a just jumping out there and doing it, just moving on it? Like, what is it? Because that's one of those things. Like, I'm doing so much physical. It's almost like strength building. I'm lifting stuff. Boom. I'm moving stuff. I'm one arm. So like strength wise, like, boom, it's there. But then I'm tired. And I'm like, okay, well, I know I need that added. It's like almost added pressure to decompress. It's like a controlled. If there was a system that was like overly pressurized and you add just a little pressure here to decompress that shit on the other side. I don't know, but that's what it feels like. Because so the other day, I'm sitting outside. I'm like, okay, I'm outside. Take the boys. I'm like, come on, boys, let's go outside. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I made sure I put on like my sweatpants or whatever, and I had on like one of these like thermals, and I had my running shoes on. And I'm like, I'm just standing out there. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Just making myself available. Because that's kind of, some of you were saying, like, don't even, like, because you could hate it. Like, what were you saying? Like, you could almost hate to do it, but you still got to do it. Right. It's like, it's not about liking the shit. It's just about the nature of, you feel like you got to do it. Let me jump out there and do it.
I think it's the results that we seek more than anything, and that are most enjoyable. It's like, the lead up is like, but then you do it and you get it done, and it's like,
I feel so good after doing it. But here's the thing: I found there's a hack to it because I read something recently, and it's just like exercise should not be a punishment for what you have done to your body. It should be a celebration of what your body can do, right? And so when I go into working out every day, like I don't think about the end of the workout. I think about each rep and just like when I lift, like when if I do a clean and I lift it off the ground, I raise it above my head and everything like that. Like you really have to hack your brain to like celebrate every movement. You're just like, even when you're running, you're just like, if you can get it down to each stride,
right,
then fine. But I normally get it down to every 4 steps, and it's like that was a good rep. That's a good rep.
See,
you know?
that is.
Excuse me.
I think that stream of thought kind of is like a means to an end. That would really depend on your mental capabilities, right? And then at what point do you reach your own mental, like at what point does your mentality stagnate and go, well, I'm at the peak of my thing, but I feel like I could go further. It's like that. So for me,
okay, so this is
I couldn't. So like, for instance, just to finish this off, that day, so we're standing out there, I got my shit on, and I'm like, all right, come on, boys. And then, I just start running around the backyard, trying to keep up, and I'm just, and I'm trying to, What's interesting is I almost see what you're saying about the celebration of what the body can do, because I'm out there, and I'm like, I'm not just out there like, because that's boring.
That will tire you.
I'm out there like, okay, I'm not gonna go too ham, but let me see what I can do. Let me see what I can. Okay, So then I stop and I'm jumping jacks, and then I'm doing some like capoeira stuff and some mixed martial, kicks and stuff, and I'm like, wow, I still have the muscle memory of the 17-year-old dude that's out there trying all sorts of martial arts and backflips and stuff. So my body can do it, but it's almost like, I think I see what you're saying on a if you can manage to manifest that celebration without thinking about it. Because to think about it, you almost will reach a peak at some point.
Yeah.
Once your mind becomes too tired, now you can't do it.
Oh, that was the point I was going to make. So we're talking about fitness, but this is actually going to become a really deep conversation because fitness is a place where philosophy comes in for me, because you're in your own head, so you get to have whatever thoughts, right?
Right.
You're saying, when do you reach that point where your body or your mentality is just like, I just don't want. Here's the thing. For me, especially, working out is a place to practice self-love, right? Because your body actually responds better overall if you rest when it needs rest, and if you exert it when it needs exertion. So if you're in the process of exertion and you get to that rep, or you get to that set, or you get to that mile where you're just like, I just can't do this, then take a break. Give yourself a break. For me, that's very necessary.
It
'cause,
depends on what your goals are.
It depends on what your goal is.
If your goal is
my
just to
goal is-
decompress and not overwork yourself doing the most, then I feel you. 100%.
Right. My goal when I work out is actually balance. Because here's the other
Right.
thing about what you said. When you're doing physical labor, why do you still feel like you need that decompression? Because the physical labor is tied to whatever that goal is of that physical labor.
Right.
So you do still need something else to decompress.
Right. What's interesting though about like when you get into that movement, consciousness is important because that's so you don't strain yourself, one, so that you can feel what's going on with your body. Because if you can consciously do these movements that, like you're consciously going on a run after you just carried all sorts of heavy stuff, bricks, whatever you carrying on, and now you're going for a run. But when you go for that run, when you go in that stride, when you get in that zone, you can almost, and I haven't been in that zone in a while. But I remember that zone where you're just running and it's almost like everything is locked in and nothing's tight. Nothing's tight, but the muscles are working as they should. Like everything, like kind of going back to what we were saying the other day about the pain thing. And like, okay, so with the Wim Hof method, the breathing method of the Wim Hof, some people go ham with that shit, but he even says, look, don't exert you, like just take it easy. Like push yourself if you're the type of person that pushes yourself, but don't go any hammer than you are.
Right.
So he talks about, you're breathing into the pain, like because you're trying to, when you're doing this breathing, you're breathing into the parts of your body that oxygen isn't getting into normally because your breathing patterns are not as deep normally. Normally you're just regular breathing, but then to do it but not strain, because if you, like sometimes I'll catch myself and I'm like, nigga, what?
Yeah.
Relax, like it's not about strain. Yeah. It's about sucking in the air. It's about oxygenating, and then breathing into painful things like with the cold. He talks about doing the breathing exercise and then take the cold shower. The interesting thing about giving it, like not resisting pain, is the stuff. And look, we can fact check it later. But the chemicals that release in the brain when you submit to pain, like when you do not resist pain. Like, so when you don't resist the cold shower, like, have you ever been in the cold shower and you're in there and it's cold? You're like, but then you
get to that point where
totally
you just
submit to it to where it's still cold, but it's different. Like, it's like the brain shifts off a certain, like something happens when you go, I submit to this cold. Like being cold, I'm not going to resist being cold.
Right.
Because that's what the shivering is. I'm just gonna, oh God. So then you're cold as shit. It's hitting you, and you're like, so what is your brain doing then? According to, all these different things about, giving into this pain, your brain is releasing the dopamine. It's releasing the all these different things that are kind of shuddering, like nullifying the pain.
Yeah.
And the more you give into the pain, the more you nullify from the pain. That's an interesting analogy about Christ as well. They say believe in Christ, trust in Christ. They say trust in God, and you have no pain. You can't. Because you're in there, you giving it, he's chopping my arm off. Some people, but you giving it, like, you probably be having, like, some hallucinogenic shit going on. You probably be in another thing, just giving in to the pain of somebody.
You can go to so many philosophical arguments. It's just that's like, wild. He's chopping my arm off. It's just like, but whose arm is being chopped off? There's some, and that's not even
but
the
just by the nature,
but it's just like the fact that you can release
a
thought, the fact that you can surrender, the idea of surrender is.
But taking that back to, I don't know what the initial point was right before that, but taking that back to the exercise and the knowing your limits, right? I feel like one interesting thing about, I would say I'm an athletic person. Like my nature's always been athletic, energetic, physically built athletically, and I've got a lot of energy even to this day, even with the weight of manhood, which I never knew, like the sort of lightness you feel at 17, I think has a lot to do not just with your energy, but the fact your lack of responsibility.
Oh, that's true. That's probably true too, bro. Yeah, that is probably true.
Step.
That is probably true, man. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
You're so light.
You're worried about math homework, dog.
Even people like, for instance, even people that have hard times in high school, they still have a lighter foot than their self when they get older and still have the same issues.
Right.
Because there's something about that youth. There's something about that protectiveness of like being in school or, all that different stuff. But as an interesting thing, just kind of like, now I'm like, okay, what are my limits?
I think that's
physically?
Point, because your physical limits, I see through exercise a lot of the battlefield is in the mind.
Right.
Like, you worked all day. You feel this. You're pulled. Oh, I should go run.
Right.
You got it in you. Or you ran. You ran a 5K. That's your regular. Or you run a mile. The mental battle is then in order to celebrate what your body can do,
right.
you have to win that mental battle. So then you push and expand on what your body can do. So you ran that mile yesterday. I'm gonna run 1.5.
Right.
Or 1.2.
In my experience, once you overcome the soreness, I got sore the same day.
That's that first.
The same evening, my legs were sore tight. I was like, man.
Yeah, but that's only when you're trying to come back in the game. Now,
right.
The other hack to that is like I do typically work out before going to it, because when your brain is already when your brain is separated, this is celebration and this is toil. This
right.
is labor, right? Then you want to put the celebration before the toil, because ultimately you do have a net amount of energy,
right?
You right. But if your mind state is in toil, but toil has the reward of money or completion or whatever it is, then that becomes your fuel to finish that, right? Because if I toil too hard in the day, then it's already cut into my stores of celebratory energy. There's, at some point you can't avoid that.
So you're saying,
I mean,
so you try to get waking up and giving yourself that reward of exercise is more beneficial to wake you up and get you started. Like, I get a reward in the morning.
Right.
And then that reward of, I get to pay my bills is enough to keep you going throughout the day.
To pay yeah, exactly.
Right, that's interesting.
Exactly. And that's how I do it. But also, and there's the other thing. I'm in shape. I'm in good enough shape right now that if I were to sacrifice a couple of things and just say, I'm going to be an Instagram model in 6 months. Like, I could sacrifice those things, start eating this, just do the movie star transformation. Anybody could. Not anybody could. But if you're in a general good state of health, you can, right?
Right.
I wouldn't do that. Why? Because one, that's not my ultimate goal. Two, and I'm not trying to get anywhere fast. I'm trying to, at my age, not my age. That makes me sound old, right? But
like my age.
No, but
Pass me that cane, brother.
I'm trying to maintain. I'm trying to do a good maintain, right? So if 30 minutes a day, 6 days or 7 days a week will maintain it and also improve it, because you can make your exercise more intense.
Right.
Don't go who are you showing out for?
Right.
Because I think that's sometimes what your ego can get in there and mutate what was a good thing, because you're not celebrating anymore. Now you're punishing yourself in order to achieve some larger goal. You know? So you always got to keep it in that good state. And the other thing I do is I always make my smoothie. When I don't feel like working out, I make the smoothie, because it's just like, I'm about to put all this fruit energy in your body, bro, and it's just gonna turn into soft doo-doo if you don't go work out. So you need to go work out now. I'm
gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it ace 100. For me, with having kids, having a family, that really they say, some people go, having a family, it takes away your dreams. You can't fulfill your dreams. You got a family. I disagree 100%.
Sounds like somebody who dreamt of not having a family.
See, you're right. Here's why I disagree, because I feel like if it's your dream, if it's your passion, if you have things you have to do, and you have things you're called to do. If it's something that you are called to do, you have plenty of energy. You have more than enough energy to get it done, on top of the things that you have to do. And I like how you put it. Like, and even how you put it, even if it's not the gym, even if I'm waking up, I'm working on my business plan for 30 minutes every morning. As that reward, I'm waking up and I'm giving myself the keys to my future 30 minutes every morning, before I go do the things that take care of my present. Right. And that's oh gosh, that's
wow,
very
that's deep, bro. I hadn't even heard that, because it's almost like tithing, how you give your 10% first, because you really, you know what I mean?
Because you're like, look,
first before anything else gets paid. That's wild.
Because this, and you also, and here's an interesting concept also. You also don't. They say in the Bible, right? It's like, look, you give to folks, and don't go around telling folks what you gave, right? They say when you suffer, don't go around telling people you're suffering. Like, why would you wear your suffering on your sleeve? You need to be wearing my glory on your sleeve. I don't care what you're going through. You need to be shining, right? And I think that's very interesting, because, like, I feel like start working out. Work out for a week. I did this with the YMCA. I got the YMCA family membership. I start swimming. I'm like, I used to swim 25 laps every morning. I start swimming 25 laps. I start getting crushed out. Like, after a week, I'm telling the guy, I'm coming back every day. He's like, every day? I'm like, every day. After a week, I stopped coming back. It's been months since I've been back. And I kind of pushed myself too hard and didn't have that. It's almost like instead of giving that 20%, that 10% up front,
You try to get 80.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give, because I love this, so I'm gonna give 85%.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna leave 15%. But that doesn't work.
It doesn't.
You got it. It's all
It's
about
a lesson.
Well, I think I kind of went off tangent.
No, but you
Right
you caught something so deep, because like that's a lesson that as I grow, it's so applicable to so many things in life. If you want something for a long time,
right.
take your time.
Right.
Take your time, man.
Take your time.
It's
you
just
have
like
some, you have
even
time.
if you get into a relationship, right? You love her. She is so beautiful. She's so amazing. The best girl I ever met and everything.
Right.
Yeah. Go spend every day of the week for her for the first year, and she will be so smothered by
Right.
you. Take your time, man. Chill.
Right.
With so many things, you know what I'm saying? It's just every car I've ever, except for this last one, every car I've ever purchased, right? What's the first thing I do after I get it off the lot and it's officially mine? I go find a street,
You would peel off on that thing,
peel off on that thing, right?
Pew!
You are damaging your car.
Yes.
Take it easy, bro. You want to have it?
bro.
Take your time. It's
I'm
a
learning.
thing.
I'm learning the.
It's a
I'm learning
thing.
the lessons on that. But yeah, you that's an interesting thing. That health aspect and tying in. That's interesting because I'm trying to tie in. I've lost track of what I was. I'm trying to tie it back in.
I'm losing the point, but we're making deep points. I'm
Right.
sorry, yeah.
Because
You were talking about that early win, and you kind of took that and started talking about fatherhood, getting that.
You were talking about the family.
I was talking about the
And
family.
dreams.
Okay, the
Yeah.
family. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because you also had another good point that we could have gone back on, but that's
Right.
what he was talking about. Yeah.
The family, it doesn't ruin your dreams. When you have dreams, you have that in your tank, right? And so it's very interesting because I feel as though, like, this is one thing that this podcast is one thing that is an accumulation of dreams that I've had. It's a compilation of various skills and different talents and different people that I've always wanted to work with, and now we're making this podcast and it's cool. You know what I mean? And that's a manifestation of dreams. The health aspect, that is what the family for me is the thing I got to go, okay, because I need the health for the family, but also, nigga, after doing the family, after doing the job and doing the dreams,
Yeah.
I'd be like, my health, I need, so that's why I'm like, how do I really cross that threshold? And I know instinctively, like, right, I'm gonna go, I know through Christ, right, don't even worry about that shit, because you'll be drawn, you'll be like getting up to put your running shoes on, and then it's really the mind to be like, nigga, what am I doing? I was sitting here looking at Netflix. What was I doing? Where was I going? No.
Yeah.
You should have just kept going, ran that little thing, came back, finished your Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what I've always known. I think that's the thing that I feel like, and it's not that the family is like an antithesis. They're not like anti, but just being that, like, I went from kid that loved, like, crying in my bed, like, oh, I was too scared to get him. I'm crying. As a little kid, like, if I was my dad, I'd have been like, yeah, why you crying? Nobody checked in, like, hey, why you crying, nigga?
Yeah.
I'm just crying over these ladies. Boom, 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 love songs. Whoop, 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 whoop. Family. Some people go career. I went family. And then it's like, you start working on a career, and it's like, okay, boom, I'm getting somewhere. I'm paying my bills. Yeah, my credit's getting right because I had, you know what I'm saying? But boom, it's getting right. And I'm paying these bills. Boom. I got these. I'm tapping into some dream-like shit. Some stuff that if we put some work, like, it's not prerogative. Like, if this doesn't blow up, like, I still have to pay these bills, which I got the other thing. But I'm touching on dreams, and I go, but that's where I feel like we got to take a step further. Like, as men, like, as a kid, I would have been like, my plate is full. But as an adult, like, as a man, I feel like, one, the well of energy is there.
Check.
Like, it's just a manipulation of habits. Because, right, I've got, I don't have the greatest. It's not like I'm operating on 100%. Like, I'm full. I'm operating on, like, not 100%. So if I get my habits right and I get that and really tap into that wealth, I feel like that's something, because it's something that it definitely is a reward on top of all that, and it definitely benefits everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's a balancing act, like you said.
right.
Like,
Well,
which is, I think seems to be what you're touching on. Like, you can go hard in one direction, and then everything else start losing. Like,
Right.
if you're just focusing, and that's like a man out of balance. Like, you're bouncing back and forth between things because you haven't found that balance.
Right,
of
that balance.
15-minute run, 15-minute.
Right.
And it
15-minute.
Boom, boom, boom. Bath story.
and you can't
okay.
you
Kiss
can't
the wife,
think about
TV.
it too much
Boom,
because
boom.
if you think about it,
Can't think about it
your
at all.
ego will be like, oh, I'm locked into this routine. It's just like, yo, your routine is your freedom. Because it's finally balanced, and balance is what gives you peace. And peace
Gotta
is
have
actually
balance.
peace. I believe is actually what freedom feels like. That's
Right.
what most people
Right.
are actually. I just want to be free. You know,
No.
you want to have peace.
You want
That's
to be
what
free, but you think that freedom is a feeling, but the feeling of peace is void of the feeling you think you're looking for.
Right.
Like as if freedom is joyous and so happy, because that happiness is also has a undershadowing of like potential loss of that happiness.
My
Peace
dad
is
always told me there's freedom in discipline. Like,
Yeah.
right.
True.
you get in the discipline, you get in the motions, and then you can just kind of let go and
Right.
move on. Autopilot.
Okay, that's one thing. Okay,
No.
go ahead.
I was gonna ask you too. What do you do for stress relief? Because for me, I'm a typically quiet person, right? So when things bother me, 2.3% of the things that bother me actually make it out into any external world where people could help me with them or hear about them or anything like that. So even though it had always been the case, it was only recently that I actually made the link that I'm just like, oh, when I work out, because it happened a couple weeks ago, actually. I was, what happened? I think it was my car breaking down. And I was just like, it was my car breaking down, and then I had to borrow a friend's car, and I still need to go get to the job, and obviously I'm doing stuff where I have to haul stuff, so it was like things won't fit, all this, and it was a super stressful day. But then I realized when I came home at the end of the day, I was just like, yo, I would normally be more bummed than this.
Right.
Why am I not upset? And I was just like, because I worked out earlier today. I feel bouncy still
Right,
from the
right.
workout. So that's what cleared. And I was like, oh,
Right.
So now I kind of save up my stress because I'm just like, oh man, just let it bother you because tomorrow morning at 8, you're going to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do for like stress relief? Because that's a great way
Well,
to.
it's just interesting because the way I see it, I mean, I don't too much have the mental stress, which always was my biggest hindrance. So maybe that's why I haven't looked super hard at the physical stress, because I have physical stress, not necessarily anxiety either,
Right.
but more so physical stress, like tightness in the shoulders and the chest. You know what I mean? Like tiredness.
See, so
things
maybe you're
that-
closer to equilibrium than you think.
Well, I need to pump the engine. I've been riding on low. Like I've been riding too unstressed, too unbothered, because I've got the unbotheredness of following Christ. It leaves me very unbothered when I follow Christ. Then I'm not bothered.
So you
But
don't-
then my habits are like
Because you are unbothered. Well,
no,
not even
no.
because
See,
you have
here's the
physical
thing.
stress.
My habits are what are they like? False relaxants. Like, oh yeah, I'm even more relaxed now because of these habits. It's like, no, it's false. You know what I mean? And so it's like I'm already on a low on a slow vibration, with also these negative habits like smoking or whatever. And then I'm like, I need that fuego. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I'm like, I want to box. Because I just want to, look, I'm an Aries, and I don't know how much, look, all I know about that is that, look, I feel fiery, I feel energetic, and I feel like I build up, and then I boom, and then yeah. And then I build up, and then I boom. That's my characteristics.
Yeah.
And so I want to box to really bring that out, because I got all this martial arts experience from youth. I want to put that into a practical application, because I feel like I need to increase, like, okay, so if the spirit of Christ is up here on this high vibration and I'm low vibration and I'm trying to get brought up, like, you know what I mean? Like I feel when I get boosts of energy, they don't reach higher than this. They don't get higher than my belly. They don't reach up. They don't come through unless I really
Consciously pull it up.
right. Naturally, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to rise up in those vibrations. I've got to relax I've got to up the intensity, So I used to be afraid of upping the intensity because we would go on these 5-mile runs every day. And every day we would go on these me and Sarah, my wife, we go on these 5-mile runs. And every day we get 2.5 miles in, which means we're 2.5 miles away from the house. And I start having I start tripping. I just get mad about anything. I'm talking about anything. I'd get upset. I'd get pissed. I'll tell you exactly
Why?
what it
Because
is.
you tired or what? I mean, what?
No. Because here's the thing. Up until that point, I had been denying the fact that I had demons. I was stricken by just the demons of just being confused and lost in the world from my parents getting divorced. I was just lost in the world, and I had pushed it down. I just was performing and smoking and just chilling and drinking and partying and just growing my hair long as hell and just not giving a fuck. I was just out there like, and then I meet this girl and then we try to build a life. We start, seeing if we're gonna build a life together. We start running. We getting it. We're still partying, but we're running. We're running every day. We're doing yoga. We're We're getting it. We're doing all this shit. And I would get triggered by being too energetic.
Yeah.
Like we would be out there running. Boom. That's when we would be running shirtless through the belt line. That was during that time. And we'd be running, and then I'd find something. I'd be like, "You running too slow. Like, what's the problem? Like if you want me to slow down, just tell me to slow down."
It's like, bro, we were.
It's
all
like,
just
yo,
running.
what the hell?
But that's when they come calling. It's darkest before dawn. So it's almost like right before you get free is when it gets hardest.
Bro, it got so dark.
So it's like right then, if you could have surrendered.
That was the best shape of my life.
If you could have surrendered into everything is good instead of let me find a problem. Right. That would have been your liberation.
Right. It would have been a supreme liberation, but I had no idea.
They
I was
come calling right when you're about to get free.
Deep.
That's when they come calling.
I was so mad at my dad, bro. I was so pissed. I was so fucking right. I was so mad at everybody. Didn't know it though. Didn't know it. Would have swore. No, I'm not mad. No, I'm not mad. We good.
I feel like that you through the good stresses, not like stresses of the flesh, but the stresses that detach us from the flesh. We're able to kind of rise above that and then enter this new kind of space where energy is different. Like I feel that's what happens in fasting. In fasting, your body enters this state where it's like, and it's not even necessarily your body, but your mind.
Right.
Your mind, and that's what I mean by the mental block. Your mind is like, I'm hungry, and then you're just like, then you start operating in a different way. Like Nipsey Hussle said, when you don't eat, you get hungry. When you get hungry, your brain changes. Like the way you move changes.
Right.
So you're operating really in a higher state. Like a lion on the hunt versus a lion who's eating and all he has to do is chill.
Right.
Is operating at two different energy levels. And I feel like things like exercise, things like fasting, that are kind of putting a little bit of pressure on the body.
Yeah.
It's pulling you up there.
Right.
But then it also
right.
It excises,
Right.
Like,
because it wants to pull back.
It goes, and it's when you say
God,
fasting,
so
because
true.
it goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. Fasting, if you ever fasted, you are going to go through several small battles of I'm hungry. And what do you do to beat that? You have to surrender into it. Because you're not going to not feel hungry.
Right.
You have to surrender into it. And once you surrender into it, it goes away.
Right.
And until it comes back, it will come back.
Oh my
God.
God.
And you got to keep surrendering. And it's almost like every time you surrender, it's almost like when I'm writing a paper, if you're writing a paper and it's like, I'm writing 20 pages or something like that, and you get on to the fourth page. Because the fourth page is just like, I got my introduction, I got my ideas out, I got everything like that. And it's just like, I got 16 more pages. And then you start, that's when the anxiety starts building, everything like that. But you knew when you started the project that you could do it. You knew when you started you could do it. But now all of a sudden you got a trip. It's just like you got to surrender. You got to let it go. And when you on that, it's like I just need 8 reps, and it's just like you on 7, and it's just like, oh man, I'm gonna just give it. It's like if you actually surrender to the process, if you stop thinking here and just start thinking here, you just got it. You the last one, you got it.
Yeah,
it's wild. Like you have to. We get in our own way. Right. Or I'm not saying we, but there's a lot of things that you could place in the in the place of we.
It's so interesting. It's almost like when you're trapped in resentment, you're attached to the world. So you don't want to come out. You don't even want to come out.
I remember you was conflicted.
Right.
Trapped in a you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's why I love K Dot. Yo, K DZ.
Trapped in a room full of. What did he say? Because I felt like you were about to go right on it.
Right.
Like I remember you was. Go. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Abused by your influence.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Abusing the power. Lucy was all around me.
Right.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right.
That's basically
Right.
what it was.
That's an interesting thing.
I love how he
interesting
used that
thing.
through the entire album, because the only reson why I can quote that and it's so powerful is because I think he put it in 7 tracks
Right.
on the album.
Yeah,
He
he just
took out
popped
the
it
whole
in.
thing.
It out. He did like one sentence as one between 2 songs. Then he until the very end where he said the whole thing, and then
Which was
Right. Man.
that guy. Pause, but whatever.
Right.
Like that.
See, I like K Dot because Kendrick is the most prolific artist of my whole lifetime. Like I would say more so than somebody like
He's like the
I would say, yeah, I would just
he's
say
like
that.
Bob Dylan
You could say other folks
for white people.
that I was born in 91, so that'll tell you who. Before 91, look, Michael Jackson, all them people, look, scrap them, they was before my time. Just in my lifetime, because the way he just paints the picture of what he's seeing it's just so accurate. It's almost like NWA is very biased. It's very biased that they don't care about the police, like they don't care about.
It was in a time.
Like,
Yeah.
Kendrick is very almost like like everyone else talking about that hood shit is like wrapped up in it.
Right.
Kendrick is like you get conscious, you become conscious, you wake up conscious, and you're like, whoa, I'm in the middle of this situation. That's what it seems like Kendrick's perspective is. It's like waking up from the middle of it, like you know what I mean? Good Kid, Mad City, like all these
I was
different
just about
things.
to say,
He's like,
I've used the phrase "Good Kid, Mad City" to talk about things that are happening in society, other things that are not his
Right.
album. I've used that phrase to explain what that is. You know what I'm saying? That concept.
Even when he went, because he started there and he took that lyricism and he made these things like universal by the nature of like how Eminem's not universal by his content. He's universal by the fact that he says a lot of words and people like that. It's like Guinness Book type stuff. So people will
His artistry is good.
Right. So people will promote Eminem to little kids. They'll just promote the soft version of like his with the least curse words. Like, and then they'll bleep those out.
It's 3 a.m. in the morning.
It's like, how could you, but you know, but like K Dot, man, he's prolific. Like he just, and he's not.
And it's timeless, strangely.
Right.
Somehow.
It's timeless.
He's very bound in time because it's right now happening, but everything he put out is kind of timeless.
Like To Pimp a Butterfly, like his topic on race, straight up, I don't know what he might say, but for me, it's such a universal, and it's very specific. Like he's not necessarily summing up all things black and white, which I like. Like he's not saying this is everyone's black experience.
Well, that's the thing. Is like
He's
he chose
saying-
his audience.
He's saying this is like this is the Good Kid, Mad City, what I observed, and then tying that into the mainstream and how he views the world. And he kind of has a very, I wouldn't even say intellectual. I would say like a very knowledge, like almost as if he knows a little something about all of this on a deeper level. It's almost like, damn, K Dot, like, are you like behind the scenes? Are you like a historian of like deep stuff kind of thing? But I don't know if he is or if he's just tapped into when he perceives things.
Because everything he
And
says
then-
is really poetic, so it's almost
Right.
like it's not because he's not
And he
like
taps into the psychology.
right. It's not so much
It's deep
facts. Like
psychology.
he's not hitting historical. Like
It's like into your mentality.
he's not Rakim. He's
Like when he says, I put the bullet in the back of the head of the police, to most people, that doesn't say we hate the police, kill all police. To most people, that sums up a sentiment that he's
describing the
that
tenseness and the violence of the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
because of the juxtaposition he's making about the love of himself against the environment he grew up in which there was no perception of that self-love because of the treatment in that particular environment. Not saying, and that's what's so universal, because then more people can listen to K. He's not saying to every white boy and girl in their house that, you know, they're the perpetrator of their crime. It's like, dang, I might not want to go to his Mad City because, you know what I mean?
But I also feel
you
like,
know what I mean.
I also feel like you can put the message out there real flat,
And then the way, hold on,
and who it hits is gonna hit. Go ahead.
right. Yeah, because then he makes the juxtaposition about bringing those hood niggas to the Hollywood stage, right? Grandma told my, what do you say? Shit don't change until you get up and wipe your ass, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing these hood niggas to the Hollywood stage. It's very distinct. Now he doesn't talk about everything. He talks about like the hood situation. He talks about the Hollywood. He talks about this.
His experience.
That's
Right.
that's what I was gonna say. Is like
Right.
that's what he says. Everything he has to say,
Right.
And who it hits is going to hit, and the way it hits them is going to hit them. But everybody listens. It's just how it is.
Right.
You go to church. The sermon, we just talked about this last week. You go to church. The sermon is the sermon.
Right.
You feel like he's talking to you.
Right.
And it is for you.
Right,
what
right.
you heard is for you.
Right.
But the sermon is the sermon.
Right.
The album is the album. Because when he's talking about Keisha, Tammy, stand up, whatever. It's like Keisha and Tammy, yeah, those are typical black names and everything like that. But when he's just like, fuck your ethnicity, right?
Right.
That's a declaration that what I'm talking about right now is if I use Keisha and Jamal and Tamar and Tammy and and all these black names,
Right.
if you're between the ages of, at the time, if you're between the ages of 15 and 25 and you're hearing me, you're around this campfire that you hear as well.
Right.
And so everybody got to hear it. And then when he starts talking about what neighborhood he was in, when I'm broke, like a 50-cent CD, and I'm rolling up with Shireen, where he's going into the neighborhood and everything like that. Like a young white boy may not be able to identify with that.
Right.
But either he listens to it because he likes and that's the other thing about
Because
Kendrick.
he's a
so thorough.
storyteller.
He's so thorough that the music is good, the story
They
is good,
can
the lyrics are
picture
good.
it.
You can take whatever you want from it.
They don't have to relate to it.
Exactly.
Do you have to relate to Scarface to watch the movie?
Right.
That's Kendrick. That's Kendrick, the movie.
I like that you said a sermon though, because I think that Kendrick is very much like the leader of a sermon, and like we were talking about the Bible today, like the way Kendrick talks about things or the world or his perspective is very much his viewpoint and in relation to what he experiences, but he's laying this like story out
Right.
for everybody to take a piece from.
Right.
And he does it like a pastor. He knows how to use his voice. He knows how to be poetic in the lyrics. He is also religious. Like he's pretty biblical in the things he talks about.
Right.
And that's also kind of how the Bible is laid out and how these characters in the Bible are laid out. We're talking about their specific lives and experiences, but they're able to reach broader audiences because of the way they're written and
Right.
how they're
Right.
cross cultures, they cross timelines.
Right.
Bill Johnson.
Oh man.
Okay. There's a story. David, Bathsheba. Bathsheba's husband. David was messing around with Bathsheba, so he had to send Bathsheba's husband off to war because I got to get rid of this guy.
Right.
Bill Johnson.
No.
We're not talking about that. But I'm just saying, like, it brings back a story to me.
Right.
Where
that was a conspiracy.
Allegedly. No, I'm just like, what was the point of that? Because you said, like the sermon. But that wasn't the point. It was actually what you said after that. I can't remember. But there was something to the fact that with him preaching, I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So on to J. Cole.
But speaking on that, because we were speaking on banging music. So Bill Johnson is actually my grandfather, Willie T. Johnson of the Golden Gate Quartet, right?
Oh.
That music was banging. This is the 1930s, and I just want to say this because this is so interesting. This is the 1930s, right? And this is. Am I out of space on that, John? I said John, and I'm not even from Philly. I just Chef. My friend Chef. My friend Chef is from Philly.
I say Jug all the time, and I'm not.
I'm gonna replace it with this one.
All right, swag. Yeah. All right, replays. All right, swag. But no, like he 1930s, man. This man singing in the quartet, man, and these guys' songs were very interesting. And what's so interesting is got the opportunity to sing at the ballet. You all know this. Got a chance to sing at the Atlanta Ballet. With the Dwight Rhoden choreographed the Atlanta Ballet, and my dad did the composition, and one of the songs was Well, 3 of the songs were from my grandfather, from Golden Gate Quartet. So I'm gonna just give you a little snippet, right? So let's see, what's a good one?
Swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride. That's not
But I'm
it.
trying
That's
to
not
give
it.
one that's more in the
a good one.
context. Why don't you swing down, sweet chariot, stop and
swing.
let me ride? Yeah. So what is not that one? Okay, so it goes like this. So this is a good one. It goes it goes oh, Dad, come knocking at my mother's door. He said, come on, mother, ain't you ready to go? And then my mother went down, she push she shot out real steady. And then she moved on down the Georgia Street, and then she shot highly. I've been reading because I done my duty. Got on my traveling shoes. 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 I saw you, oh, dead in the shoe, coming knocking in the shoe, and my father's door. I heard him say, come on, father, ain't you ready to go? And then he waited in the water bottle, but it go deep into the water started around. So anyway,
That's a smooth.
that,
Won't you teach me how to ducky?
hey,
Oh yeah, because everybody loves.
but that was like the pace, right? So they would keep the pace. They would be like a train. They got a gospel train is coming. You better. But this man, he would be rapping, man. This man be rapping. It's 1930s. He'd be like, dang, I wish I knew some of the. He'd be like, stop, great God, stop, listen to the story about the Jezebel. Great God, the leaping, great God, the leaping and jumping in the hell. Way down yonder in the olden days, I told the Jezebel the better ways. Hidden the leap, moving the leg, repent for the kingdom of God. What's it? Hey, she got your man. So what's that sound like? Doesn't that sound
Brakes
like
on the bus, brakes on the car,
Right.
brakes to make you a superstar, brakes
Right.
to win and brakes to lose.
You know, and
Yeah.
what's so crazy, right? So I'm watching the history of hip hop one day. I'm just watching it, and it's like Killer Mike and all them, history of hip hop. And it's like, yeah, hip hop, we got this, the vibes and the flows from back in the day, you know what I'm saying, in these quartets. And then they play, like, a stop, quick, go, stop, quick. And it's like my grandfather's cut of him, like, doing the rap style from the 1930s. And I was like, that's amazing.
That's so wild. And I really don't want to make this
That's
goofy,
dope.
but it just really tickled my brain that they would have seen us outside on the stoop
right.
with 3 of our other friends.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful harmonies from the God-given vocal cords, golden vocal cords under this copper skin that is just resonating through the town.
Right.
And they'd be like, look at that monkey talk. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's so funny because at
But
the time,
no,
you know what I'm
remember
saying?
we got to go back. That was the cultural way of doing it, right? So they would be like, oh, monkey, what an amazing performance, monkey. And they'd be loving you. They'd be like, monkey, when can you come back?
Oh.
They'd be like, honey, come check out Monk. Monk man.
Thelonious Monk.
They'd be like, monkey, that was great. We love your monkey ass. It's just like, and you like, no, I don't like that, but I can live with that.
And then they flick you a penny farthing and
Right.
you put it in your.
Now there
your
were
turncoat.
instances I know because they're gonna say, "Oh, what about the instances where they said, monkey ass nigga, get over here, we hate you." Yes, that exists.
But it was our fault for swinging through the trees to get to them. We probably should have just walked. You know what I'm saying? Like it's optics. It makes an impression.
My thing about Malice, and we talked about this in the first podcast. Malice makes you very uncreative. It's better to make so if you're able to laugh at your own insecurities, then we can joke about a lot of stuff about each other, and it not be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when these folks make inaccurate, so for instance, there's only a select few black niggas that look like monkeys. Like
But-
that literally.
Oh,
no,
man,
no.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying that.
You about to
I'm
set
just
me up, 'cause
no.
I was gonna say, but the ones who do though, bruh.
What I'm saying. But you gotta imagine that's very lazy. That's the thing about Malice. See, creativity. If we just joking, right? It's like circumstances. Y'all are my slaves, and y'all gonna work for me for free. You know what I'm saying? Better work or you get whipped. Better work, but you look like a monkey. I love you. Okay, here we go. Work.
Mm-hmm.
That's different than monkey ass nigga, and you got a thin nose because your slave daddy ran away and had sex with a Native American. And they caught them when they were trying to escape to the freelance. So it's very uncreative. I think that you should really, if you are in lack of creativity type of person, you should really check yourself. You should really look at your resentment.
Like, here's the thing,
because you should be funny.
It is about creativity because, look, it's no secret that obviously while they were making fun of us, we were making fun of them.
Right.
Like, look how funny we became after we got rights. So,
Man. That right.
So
Right.
it then becomes this thing where they can have. It's like, it's funny if you're not blatant with it.
Right.
So if I were to go to a particularly prejudiced Caucasian person and they had a joke against black people that was held secret from black people all this time, I guarantee I would laugh at it. If it's funny enough, I guarantee I'd laugh at it. Because I've laughed at some.
If it's hilarious.
Pretty good.
That's the thing. If it's not hilarious, like if somebody says, I look like, what do I not look like? And you know what I'm saying? Like a hunchback, like
Chewbacca like that,
looking ass.
It's like,
you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't.
See, but like when I worked at Adidas, and because of my vocabulary, they said, "Oh, you like Caesar from Planet of the Apes." I was like, "Oh." They called me a chimpanzee, and that's a good one. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good one. And I mean, that lasted for years,
bro.
Caesar. Bro, I would come into the building, they'd be like,
"Don't say that."
No, they would do that to me. They would do that to me when I came in.
Bro,
these were coworkers. No,
bro, you're telling that joke.
People. These are other black people.
You're telling that joke right in front of me, bro. You look exactly like Caesar.
And that's what they used to say, bro.
You look like the CGI animation.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's a good burn. That's a good burn.
Right.
It's racist. It was told to me by blacks. And that's the best because other blacks have separated me from them to say, not only are you smart, we're making it a detractor from you, and you like a monkey, nigga. It's like, I can't win.
And the reality about how we look, is very interesting because I can't fight for reparations because I wouldn't get them. There's too many diversions in my bloodstream to be able to count. I don't look the part. You know what I mean? If I say nigga with too clear a voice, with too clear, an accent, I might get looked at by the very thugs. Like, you know what I mean? I had to
Can you imagine? He's like, yeah, I made it to second lieutenant in the thug army, and he got his little 2 bars, his little 2 T's, thug army. I'm thug.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I feel like I have to rely on my face because when I go in certain places, I gotta just look. I just gotta look serious because I can't go around, yeah, nigga this, nigga that. I can't do that because they're gonna get too close to my face and they're gonna be like, somebody raped somebody's ancestor in that bitch. Yeah. Nah, I'm straight black. I'm straight lineage. I'm a reparation. See, we should delineate our colors not by the color but by the status of our reparations. So 100%, I get like 10% reparations.
They should make it. You should do reparations.
I don't know. I'm probably more
reparations
black than that.
You should do reparations in accordance with how long your particular phenotype would have been oppressed. So, for instance, like with me, one, I can't get my family's not from here, so I'd have to go look to England for mine. But like my skin and tone and voice and everything like that, like they probably started oppressing my people around the 1940s, 30s. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother, however, has very wide nostrils, dark skin, and everything like that. She gets reparations because they've looked like her since 1600.
You have to be able to trace it. See, I'm not really necessarily blanketly. If somebody said, "Are you for reparations?" I'd say no off the rip. I'd be like, no. However, because here's the thing. If you can't show me, look, you got to show me. That's the big thing. Like, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to say, look, show me then. Show me who gets it, how they get it, where they get it from, why they get it. Because we don't know our history. There have been a lot of instances of reparatory, if that's even a word, type of shit, land given, like
that's what I was just
opportunity given, all sorts of things that people through generations have. Oh, I let that piece of land go. I sold that for the cash, and now your daughter didn't even know that they great grandparents got some reparations from. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing:
and now you claiming reparations.
This is how I feel about it too, because I don't necessarily agree with reparations because of my larger thought about society and history and everything like that. This is so whatever.
That's why I'm not for it because you got to prove. Here's why I'm not for it because you can't prove to me how you can even make it make sense.
I'll do it one.
Make it make sense
before black people can get reparations. Native Americans got to get reparations, man. Like that's how I honestly feel. That's how I honestly feel. I was like, you really want to talk about who we did wrong?
But see, that's a whole rabbit hole we can go down, right? Because here's the thing: we got to ask Britain for some reparations.
That's right.
The whole America need to ask Britain for some reparations, and then Britain need to go over there. Who they need to ask for some reparations? They need to ask somebody for some reparations. Rome. See, Rome, where them reparations at? Rome. Who y'all looking at for reparations?
Greece.
Come on, Greece. Come on, Greece. Egypt.
Get the Arabs.
Uh-oh.
Egypt and the Arabs.
Come on, get the Arabs. Come on, Persia. Come on, let's go back.
Phoenicians,
Come on.
Atlantis.
Come on, Atlantis. Come on, Pangea.
The Greys.
Let's get them reparations.
You know what I'm saying? Reptilians.
Let's get them
You know what I'm
reparations,
saying? You know what I'm
guys.
saying?
Look, because God's going to give us them reparations, but we ain't reading the Bible, so how will we know? See, that's my argument on reparations. We get all the reparations we need from the...
You don't need
People
reparations.
don't
You
hear-
need preparations. That's
Right,
what I
you
need.
need preparations.
I need preparations.
Look, by the time,
Why
look
I
at
need
what
reparations
happened.
for what happened? I need preparations for what's happening.
Look at what
You know
happened with the
I'm saying?
stimulus bill. By the time you get your reparation, you better damn sure have your preparation because
That's
it's gonna
right.
be too
Otherwise,
late.
your reparations is
It's
just
too late. Too late. By the time you even get it, you need to be asking yourself.
I can't believe they're calling us. Look, $600. That's so funny on Black. Okay, I shouldn't even say it because it's a secret. You're not supposed to talk about it. But Black people Twitter, like they call them the stimmy. Everybody looking for the stimmy, right?
The stimmy.
Looking for that stimmy, right?
For that STEMI.
It's not a $600. Is not a, if $600 stimulates your personal economy.
Right.
You're broke. I don't know how to tell you that. I shouldn't say that.
But here's
We
the
gotta
thing.
cut
I
that.
think some
We gotta
people
cut
know.
that.
Listen,
Nah,
because
we gotta
people
cut
should
that.
listen.
That's
People
elitist.
know.
That's
People
elitist.
check this out, bro. People should consider it like this.
I feel like if
There's
$600
been-
changed
look,
your life,
there's
you're
there's-
broke.
But here's the thing. $600. Look, when the stimmies hit me, when the first stimmies hit, bro, my life was changed.
The first stimmies were big though, and the first I also didn't get the first stimmies. So I can't say.
You got the first stimmies later, right?
No, I didn't get.
You never got the first stimmies. Okay, so I got the first stimmies. But here's the thing: when you deep in life, none of the stimmies are really doing nothing because
Is it life changing?
That's what I'm saying.
look at
That's what I'm
right
saying. You get
because
my
if you
point.
can't continue my shit as long as my bills continue,
Right, then you
then-
ain't changing
right.
nothing.
So-
Right, that's what I'm
right.
trying.
I
That's
don't
what I'm
know-
trying to say.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say. Right,
so
right,
then
right.
the unemployment, boom, we got the
It
unemployed.
makes a difference,
right?
But people out here talking
then
like,
if you
this thing
can't-
is life, like
right.
it's the lottery. It's not the
Now
lottery.
you can't tell me that you can logically give me this shit, give me this shit, you this shit, because it adds up. So you give everybody because they talking about 600. They talking about 600 a week. That was the stimmies, right?
What?
An additional 600. That was the previous one. They give you 600 a week on top of what you get from the state. The unemployment. That's what you were getting, bro.
No, bro.
You were getting the main thing plus the 600, and then they took the taxes out of yours.
No, I never got that. But that's
That's exactly what you got on the
No,
back.
because remember, I didn't get unemployment because they didn't. They never categorized me as unemployed. They categorized me as underemployed.
Oh, so they hit you with the swallow
300.
water. But anyway, they
Yeah.
were giving folks the 600
Okay,
plus whatever you were getting, right?
that's dope.
And that adds.
That does add
Now
up.
you want reparations, right?
Not here, no,
Yeah, you want some reparations?
no.
But
But I
you-
didn't.
you
But
look-
I don't. But I didn't know
But
that.
you
though.
came up
But,
higher.
but
look,
also, I did so much more with
look,
it.
we are a group of blessed individuals. Like you got to understand, like there's so many people that simply by the nature of their inability to make a living, man, are very struggling right now.
That's
In
fair.
such a way, like, and it's on a whole nother level because the look, and
That's what
these
Kid
cities
was
need
saying
to check
me
it.
yesterday.
Right, because it's just human nature, right? Like you don't want to look out and see a bunch of homeless people. You want to see
People thriving and
because you
whatnot.
see I see new homeless populations.
I was just talking to me about that yesterday. Yeah, you see it now. You're starting to see it.
And it's like, whoa, a lot of this is stemmed from the
Housing.
from the response to the pandemic,
Right.
and it's like one of those things where I'm just so grateful to, because you got to understand, if you looked at the stimulus from jump as a stimulus to stimulate your shit, which I think we all did,
viewed it that way. Yeah.
it would give you momentum. So for me, I feel like I got momentum. So whereas things are still going and whoop-de-whoop, and we're fortunate to be in Georgia, so it's not, it's not really as locked down, and there's still opportunity and kind of regularity, minus people trying to tell you to put your mask on.
It's a
and shit.
weird pause, but
But
I
like-
also do want to say, like, it's not like a. I mean, anyway, I also am very thankful to be in Georgia. Like,
Yeah.
real straight up.
And these
That's a weird-
politicians
I don't
look-
know who I'm giving praise to when I say that, but I am thankful
Right,
to
I'm
be in
super
Georgia.
great. Look, bro,
I'm thankful. Look,
we're in one of the right places to
in
be.
2020, Georgia was the place to be.
Right.
Sorry, y'all. Like, you missed
Right.
out if you weren't here.
Look, politicians just keep Georgia
Everybody,
chilling.
yeah, everybody thought they were doing well. BNC Atlanta, we
Right.
were all right.
California.
Right,
Because
Like,
look, we even
blessed.
made it on the news in the summer with the shootings and everything like that. We still turned out all right.
right. The fact that we made it out there with the shootings means we was all right. We was all right enough to go out there with the shootings.
I'm happy to be in Georgia. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
That feels weird to say because it feels like because now I'm thinking about it. I'm just like that is actually a legit blessing.
Because that's reality over narrative, right? Narrative gives you a bunch of random facts that you piece together to say
They
Georgia's not a
pieced
good
together,
place to
yeah,
be.
Right.
No, it's like, man, you look outside when the pandemic first hit. We went to the Tallulah Falls. We went down to the falls. And
Georgia's
people
a
had
very
their
weird
masks.
place. And I'll say this, and
chilling.
we don't have enough time because we're. Anyway,
Oh,
I'm at an hour and 14, but
Yeah, we going. Yeah.
the fact that we're in a red state with blue pockets, take it for what you will,
Right.
but it balances us in a way that the majority of people can find some peace in the state. Because no matter which way you feel,
Right.
move a little bit further out, move
Right.
a little further in. What's your flavor? You can find it here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing. And are we trying to draw it to a
No,
close?
I
Let's make
don't-
some closing arguments.
Yeah, we can put some closing arguments on that. But I need to write that down because we probably need to. I had never had that thought.
Let's have some closing arguments about this stuff.
Oh, swag, go. Because
Right.
I got a front license plate for my Jeep, right?
Right.
And I got my business name on the front license plate, it's a vanity plate and everything like that. And then I ordered another one, and I wanted to do something. It's a Patriot, right? So I wanted to do something patriotic because I do feel patriotic. My belief is that there are many ways to be patriotic in this country, but as long as you are about the greater good of Americans, you're being patriotic, right?
Right.
I don't want to put the American flag on my front plate now because of the attention that it brings in this tumultuous climate.
Right.
But I will put the Georgia flag on here. I'll put the old Georgia flag on here. I'll put the Confederate, whatever.
Right.
I was born in this state. I believe in this state. And even though I've had my run-ins with whatever in this state,
Right.
Georgia's a good place to be, man.
Right, it
and
really
I really
is.
do believe in that.
It really is.
And so that's the one that I ordered was the Georgia State flag, the current one. But
I mean, as you know, I got the American flag right out there on the front.
yeah.
I mean,
see, but I believe see the American flag's a Georgia flag too. You know
Right.
why?
Why?
13th colony. How many stripes?
Oh wow,
13.
man.
That's our flag.
See, we were talking about this one day, and I was saying what I like about the flag is, like, if you look at the Star Spangled Banner, right, and the story, we were watching some video about the story of the Star Spangled Banner, and I'm like, look, just looking at how I live right now. I'm looking at how I live. I got the computers, you know what I'm saying? We got the mics. We out here chilling. We had some peace, you know what I'm saying? Boom, chilling, right? These folks was out there. They were at war, right? They were bombs. You know what I'm saying? The rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air. You know what I'm saying? Gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. The bomb, look, bro, I'm getting tingles just because you got to think about this. Because I'm looking at this in the context of God and Christ, right? Of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, right? So the Spirit working through humanity and the intentions of maybe not all, but the people, like the brand of America is that we have the intention to bring freedom to humanity, peace, the ability. Like, the pursuit of happiness is an interesting phrase because they can't guarantee you happiness, but they can guarantee you a pursuit of happiness. How can you pursue happiness if you're worried about people robbing you, stealing, killing, wrecking? That's why you got the police. That's why you got these certain things in order. That's why the system in and of itself has the keys to what we need and what they fought for. Man, the bombs coming to blow them up gave proof to those watching that the flag stood. That's like dark and light at the same time.
That's war. It's war.
Because bodies were blowing up underneath them bombs, but that light shone through that the flag stood. Because wasn't the idea they were like, look, y'all will be good. We'll let y'all ride. Just put the flag down. Y'all can be everything y'all being, just with our shit. Put y'all's flag down.
The guy who wrote it was on the British ship.
Right.
Watching from the, like, oh yeah, it's gonna fall. They gotta let it
Right.
down at some point. But it just kept.
Do you understand the I mean, we talk about symbols and we talk about imagery and we talk about all this stuff and all this stuff is fucked with. It's like played with nowadays. People just play with that shit like magic because they know how to fuck with it. But look at that imagery and how they try to turn your hatred towards that imagery. The hatred is not towards the flag. I mean, the flag just represents it, and this is what it represents. It represents the people that fought and died, and for a flag that represented freedom, which never existed in the world in such a way.
It also represents a concept that is not carried by any man because man is imperfect, but the concepts are perfect, and that's why we put it in a flag. We put it in an object, and that's why we pledge allegiance to the flag and not to any leader.
Right.
We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Because the flag
Because
stands
of
for
what it
something higher.
stands.
It
Exactly.
stands for something higher. To me,
That's also what America stands for.
Right.
Is that it's not a man or a government or a system that grants us this
It
freedom.
Right.
is these values that we.
Every individual is given that
Right.
straight from God.
Right.
That is like that's the core of America.
Right.
I feel like. And that's the same spirit that then led to this flag being
Right.
up. It's like, no, Brit, you can't tell us.
right.
You know.
That's
you-
why. That's
bend
what.
the knee.
Right. They're talking about bend the knee. That's why when they say, "Oh, America's this, America's that," I'm like, America is what you make it. That's literally what America is.
It really is.
America is just a like a Lego puzzle waiting for you to build it. It's just got all the pieces there, and people come and they build fortresses and they build gates and they build little towers, and they go, from this tower I do this, but you just a regular person in a tower. Like
the Make America Great Again Lego set.
right. It's just like
Make America how
You build it all
Right,
the way
right.
up and it's just one long wall. It's like-
right, you know, and it's just like, man, it's just crazy because like people trip on America, but how can you trip on this concept? If people misinterpret the concept or treat it wrong, then that is not the concept's fault. That's your ignorance.
See, now this is the wild part about our podcast, and this is the part that we have skirted around and jumped around and tried not to say about. But like, here's the part that's so interesting is that we are both patriots.
Right.
We both believe in this country.
Right.
Big time.
Right, because here's why. I'm gonna give you the raw truth. I'm not trying to be out there. I'm not trying to be out there fighting for my shit every single day. Prison yard rules out there. Because we don't got no police. And you got the one with the biggest mouth up there telling everybody what to do. And then the nigga with the biggest gun telling everybody you're going to do that shit. They might say that's how the system is set up. But there are still little loopholes that I just don't know about because I have not studied them that you can infiltrate. Where are my smart brothers and sisters out there? Be smart, study that shit, and then tell other people about it. Mm-hmm. Or just, do something about it. I'm a musician with an opinion. You can't expect me to explain myself. Somebody else needs to go dissect what I'm saying, find the facts,
and prove me right.
Prove me right or prove me wrong.
See,
so you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And let's build America.
And then
let's just build America.
Build America. I can't get away from American patriotism because again, my family's not from here. So if you want to find anybody who really believes in America, find some immigrants who came here. We believe in it.
Came here for a reason.
We came here for a reason.
That's
Jamaicans are smart people.
Right.
Smart, industrious, hardworking people. Why do they come to America? Because when you take that engine and you plug it into all the resources here, you can make something.
Right.
Yeah, we can
just find solace in like being the best you. Like Instagram is cool, but like dang, everybody that everybody wants to reach that level. Like everybody's disappointment levels are so high right now.
Because I'm not verified. I need to get verified, bro. I want that blue check.
Right, like
I need that blue check.
Because niggas on Instagram. But people, man, when somebody see, like when you see somebody and they smile at you, because they know you. Do you understand how deep that? They know you. And so they see you and you go, what's up? Like I look forward to recording this shit. Like I'm like, damn, these niggas are going to come by. And you know what I'm saying? We're going to dab each other up and they're going to be here and then we're going to record this shit and it's going to be fun. It's going to be in. It's going to end. I'm going to edit this shit and I'm going to be like, when are we doing the next one? Because I enjoy that. Like that's, it's just wild. Like it's just real life that we're in. And people take that shit for granted and they read too deep into some shit. And they're not okay disagreeing. Like, because me and you, like you said, we both patriots. But we got a different manifesto on what, you know what I mean? On how to really change the system.
To the bottom, yeah.
But I guarantee you, unlike, we don't, like, I don't have a personal, here's my personal motive for wanting to keep America is I got kids. I like to not have to worry about shit. I like to have a gun to go, like, learn how to hunt and shoot, like, an animal I'm going to eat. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about having a gun because I'm going to have to, because they're going to bust in the window. I don't have to worry about that. That's what America is supposed, that's what the flag, like I got my flag, which means like I'm cooking a barbecue. Like I'm reading a book. I'm looking at the sky and I don't have to worry about the plane like dropping a fucking, you need a pen. I don't need to worry about the plane dropping a nuclear missile on my shit because we good. Right. I'm for that. Like I like that. I don't think humanity's ever seen that.
That's why places like China love, their citizens, not China itself, love America because we can sit down and do stuff like this. Three people who may have similar opinions, may have conflicting opinions, but we can sit down and freely express that without somebody busting.
And no one is gonna no one's gonna disappear. Exactly.
Right.
We're okay.
And we
all get to go home. Right.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay. That's and I think too many people stir up the bullshit on how reasons why it's not okay. But I want to find all the reasons why it is okay.
It is okay.
That's my thing. I want to break down all these differences, find out reasons why it's okay. Hey, yeah.
To be okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Let's cut it right there.
Yeah.
Too much to say.
It's okay to be okay.
Man.
Yeah. I'll save it for the next one. But like my whole thing is